I'll come back. I have already told you that discussions are mostly on the practical subjects related to the topics we have discussed, although in some cases they are also on some theoretical extensions uh, of some uh, topics we have seen, and in other cases they might also be related to the comparison of the um, the Marxian approach to the uh, approach of other schools. Neo-school, it can be classical school, but it can also be other schools. Basically, um, and but in all cases, I at least want to put some practical aspect to the discussion, some practical point, or at least an example on which to discuss a topic. So this is the part actually where the course is actually related to topics we have seen to the practical things. And I open them at the Friday midnight. I will open one this Friday midnight, before Friday midnight. Actually, I can open them earlier. But whether I open them before or after, you have 3 weeks after that, after the Friday in which the topic is covered. And if for some reason I open them discussion topic late, then you will have still 3 weeks before the discussion will be closed. That's except the last week's discussion, for which you will have around 2 weeks up to the end of the finals, basically. Discussions should have at least 100 words, should be meaningful, should not be contain any insult. Basically, they should also be original, which means at least you can have some quotations, but at least 50% should be yours to have a good discussion comment. This I just have added newly because some people have just put some comments, but they are not comments in that case. That's not their comments that are just taken from other resources. I mean, nothing written by themselves. Everything is actually taken from other sources. That's not basically you are not doing what discussions required if you do that. And you also need to respond two of your peers to get full points. But as long as your comment is meaningful, related to the discussion, to the topic, I will give you the points. So there is no qualitative evaluation. I mean, I won't evaluate the way how you have built your arguments. Interesting, actually. I give this freedom to encourage people to express their original comments. Interestingly, some discussion comments are written better than them. In some cases, discussion comments can be written better than the actual graded assignments. So I'm very liberal in. I mean, unless you met the basic requirements, you will get the full points from discussions, basically. But they also need to be in essay form. For example, it shouldn't be bullet points. But a reasonable comment expressed in a reasonable way will get reasonably long will get full points. Discussions overall make 10% of the course grade. So this is the grading. Well, 10% discussions, 0 to 60% literature review, 30 to 90% exams course paper, extra reviews 9%, movie review 3%. You already know what discussions is. I will explain all others. And actually, potentially literature review can give you 60% plus a 9% grade. So that would be the first I will explain. So, I I wrote expected. It's not anymore this way. Actually, I should correct this. It is the students have the option to write 3 literature review. If you write a literature review on any topic, well, basically means that well, whatever is covered in that week. And if you want to write a literature review on a week's topic, let me say, you should go to reading list. Well, if there is nothing written under the heading of that week, for example, here, your literature review should contain, well, the summary, let's say, right, the review of all texts that are listed. If there are different chapters, then those chapters should be reviewed. We should be able to visibly see how they are separately reviewed. This is also the case, for example, in the week 4, when you have you have different chapters, and you have one separate article. Or when you go below, for example, this case, when almost all texts that are actually different from each other. In case of some weeks, I write something like this. In case you would like to make a literature review of the literature survey of the readings of that week, choose 4 readings of 8 readings below. Note each chapter is listed as a separate reading. So this 1, 2, 3. These are separate readings. Usually this is the case when I connected 2 topics, basically. 2 different topics. So the readings, there are certain readings that are related to one topic, technology, for example, and the other readings that are related to other topic, unemployment, for example. So you might divide the readings. You might either write a literature review on the readings related to technology, or on the readings related to unemployment. But if you want to mix them somehow and basically write a literature review on this mix, chapter 14, this one, and this one, basically, I don't know, Ayman Sheikh one of the Kaletsky articles, for example, you can still do that. If you can do it in a meaningful way, you can do that. It's your choice. So, basically, a review of a typical article, which can be in some cases very long, or book chapter, which can be in some cases very long, should not be just a shadow of it. You should not basically start talking from what the article is talking about in kind of it should not be a shorter version of the article or the text. Rather, it should have a basic way to do that is you should write what the article is, or the text is about, the topic of the text. You should basically write what is the basic point the text is making on that topic. That's the viewpoint. So in 1 sentence or 2 sentences, you should write what that text basically says. And there you can be, how you understand it will be important, basically. And then what I call methodology. Methodology is basically, it's not like a scientific, a lab methodology type of thing, although in some cases, if that's relevant, it can be also that. But otherwise, it's also what are the examples, or what are the basic ways the article, the text is making that point. And that can be as detailed as you want, or as small, as brief as you want. So actually, even when we are talking in a very long text, 50 pages, 60 pages long, you can, using this method, you can basically write a paragraph review of this text. And once you do that, since we have multiple texts, I also want you to compare the texts and how they are relevant. Are they opposing each other? Are they completing each other? Is one of them is setting a core theory, the other one is an extension of that core theory, or critique of that theory? Are they, or is one of them a real life example of the a certain theoretical aspect described by one of the texts? So you should basically write how those different texts are related with each other and how they are connected, how all these texts together make the meaning, basically. And lastly, you should write how those texts are relevant or irrelevant to the economics, the science, economics, Marxian economics, the school in that science, or practical economy, I mean, the current economic problem, current economic system, I mean, the practical problems, issues in the economic system. So this is the literature review assignment. And for each topic, you will have 2 weeks to do this assignment. And you are expected to, you can, kind of, let me say again, you are expected to write 3 literature reviews. So 3 is a magical number, kind of, but it is in this way, a magical number. If you write exactly 3 reviews, in that case, the highest 3, those 3 reviews each will have a 20% weight. So your literature review will have 60% weight on your final course grade. So in that case, exams, course papers, they together will make 30% of your grade. So that's the 3 when you write 3 reviews. So if you write less than 3 reviews, for example, if you write 2 reviews, in that case, each review will count 20% of your grade. For example, if you write 2 reviews, in that case, basically, each review will make up 20% of your final course grade. So literature reviews together will make 40% of your course grade. The missing 20% will be added in that case to your exams and course paper grade. So now they will weigh 50%. So if you write only 1 review, in that case, that review will make off 20% of your course grade, and the 40% will be added to exams and course paper grade. In that case, they will weigh 70%. And if you write no reviews, in that case, literature review will be 0%, and the exams and course papers, they will weight 90%. But you can write 13 reviews potentially. So what will happen if you write more than 3 reviews? If you write, for example, 5 reviews, in that case, basically, in that case, actually, this should be 10%, not 3%. I have just realized this. The highest 3 will make up the 60%. I will choose highest 3 out of those 5 literature reviews. And the remaining 2, from remaining 2, you can potentially get 1%. But since they are relatively worse grades, I mean, if, for example, you got from the remaining 2, 20% and 30% as the grade, of course, they will add 0.2 and 0.3% extra points to your grade. They can potentially add 1 point to your grade. The highest ones will, however, make up 60% of your course grade. So if you make all 13, in that case, the extra reviews can potentially make 10% of your course grade, so you can get 10% extra points from the course. So